All right. Welcome everyone to this week's episode of The Career Climb. If this is your first time watching, The Career Climb is where we spark conversations with executives and industry leaders, where they share their expertise and their perspectives on leadership and workplace culture through real life cases, not theory. And I can't wait for you to meet tonight's guest expert. But if this is your first time tuning in, I am your host, Julia Rock, founder and CEO at Rock Career Development. We are a Houston based consulting firm, and we help organizations to retain their best talent and get the best out of them through customized leadership development solutions. And so I am excited for you to be here in the building with us tonight. If you want to catch up on this episode and past episodes of the Career Climb, you can connect with me right here on LinkedIn, or you can visit rockcareer.com/CC archive, and you can view our entire YouTube playlist. And I would love for you to interact with us in the chat. Yes, I'm going to have my guest in a second, but the important part is for you to get involved in the conversation. Let us know where you're listening from. Let us know if there's something that's resonating with you. We want this to be an active dialogue. But enough of me giving the housekeeping. I want to go ahead and welcome award-winning author. Let me put some respect on it. Award-winning author and motivational speaker, my good friend Michael Morgan. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. I appreciate you having me on your show. So definitely glad to be here.
Awesome, awesome, man. And I mean, we go way back, man. I don't even know what year anymore, but it has just been a pleasure to just watch you blow up. And so I'm so glad that you are willing to take little old me, take my invitation and be here. But man, and I want to get into tonight's conversation around networking and leadership. But before we get into that, I know that I know you, but I want to make sure that you have a chance to tell the leaders who are listening and the entire audience a little bit more about you. So please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah. So for those who don't know me, my name is Michael Morgan. I've had the astute pleasure of working for some great companies. I've worked for Amazon, Walmart, JP Morgan, Chevron. Currently, I'm working for a startup in cybersecurity called Netscope. So my career journey has enabled me to live in different places all over the country. Been able to get some great experiences, both as an individual contributor as well as a people manager. And then to your point, I'm also a published author. So I published my first book last year called The Power of Networking. And I started my journey as a motivational speaker. So I speak at conferences, universities, companies, so different avenues, different venues. So combination of me working full time for Netscope, but also doing motivational speaking as well.
Man, and I know you're gonna have a chance to talk about the book at the end, but it's a good book, y'all. And it's not just because Mike is my friend, it's a really, really good book. The power of networking. And I mean, and I think especially as you name some of the companies that you've worked for, I mean, I think that leads into the next question that I have for you is, why do you think we need to have this conversation about networking, especially for leaders? And if you think about your career at all these amazing companies, why do you think we need to have this conversation?
So a lot of people just don't really understand the benefits of networking and the doors that it opens for you, regardless of what level you are in your career. Networking can really open up doors. One, it can help get your foot in the door for different opportunities. Two, it can help you flourish in your role, get your job done, and help you get to that next level. So, as an example, my first role as a people manager was when I was at Amazon. And at the time, I was an individual contributor. I was a part of the Amazon business organization. But my network, I spoke with different individuals all across Amazon, different teams, different organizations. And someone who was in my network that knew I wanted to become a people manager, she reached out to me about a role that hadn't even been published on her team. But that role was already going to have direct reports and be immediately be a people manager role. So before the role was published, I already met with the hiring manager, the director, and all the senior leaders within that organization. I already interviewed with them, and they basically told me the role was mine before the role was published.
Yep.
And if I didn't network, that opportunity may not have even presented itself. And that opportunity set off a whole trajectory of me being a people manager at different companies. And now I have the experience to say, hey, I've been a people manager for this many years at these different companies, and now that can give me better justification when I apply for new roles. But my network is what helped me get. Obviously, my experience. I've worked hard, and I've been able to say different experiences to get myself in that position. But my network opened up the door. So
Mm.
a lot of people have this mindset where they just think that if you just do your job and do it well, you'll naturally get promoted, you'll naturally get these positions, you'll naturally get these opportunities. It doesn't always work like that. So I always treat networking as part of my job. Yes, I'm doing my role, but I'm also networking strategically in my organization and other parts of the company so that when these opportunities do arise, I'm the first in mind. People know the strengths that I bring to the table. They know my experiences. And because I've built out my network, there are a lot more opportunities for me.
Man, there's so much goodness in there. One of the things that you said is that it's people get to know you, right? Because they have some folks have the misconception. We're going to talk about more misconceptions in a second, but they have the idea that if you work hard, that at some point somebody's going to notice, and that's just not true. Like I mean, you could have been working in that job for a while, and if you hadn't had a network, you still may not have been seen for that people manager role at all. So I think it's really critical for people to take from tonight's conversation, if nothing else, that the idea of your work speaking for itself, that's a fallacy. It doesn't That's not really how it works. And I think for the folks who are job seekers right now, for them to hear you say, listen, I had this job locked in before they even put this job out there. So a lot of jobs that are out here that are posted, you have no idea who's behind the scenes and may already be in those roles. And so you need to make sure that you're building your network so that you can be in position for that as well. But I want to continue the conversation about misconceptions, though, because I feel like when we talk about networking, it conjures up the god awful going to the networking event, collecting business cards, and then you're never going to call those people again. Or when you think about corporate, it's like you go to the happy hour and you laugh, your fake laugh with everybody, and then you go home. But I just and but I feel like that's just not telling the full story. And so I would love for you to share some of your thoughts on some of these misconceptions that people may have.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say for one, I'm building genuine connections with people. Like the
Mm.
people in my network, these are my friends. These these are people like I've gone to so many like colleagues' weddings and different celebrations and met their significant others and I've met their kids and I'm building a bond. I'm building a relationship with them. I feel like a lot of people have this conception of networking is I'm using you for something. What am I getting out of this? Are you helping me get a job? Are you helping me build my business? And when you go in with that mindset, to me that ruins networking. When I go into a networking situation, I'm trying to figure out what I could do to help the other person. I'm not
Mm.
going into situations where I'm trying to get something out of it. And because I have that mindset, I feel my relationships have been more sustainable and just better interactions altogether where I'm trying to, and it could be something simple. Maybe I recommend an article for them. Maybe I can, provide a referral for a job in my company, but I'm trying to help other people. I'm not looking to get something out of it. Most people in my network, I've never asked anything of.
Mm.
I'm just building genuine connections and showing that I care and reaching out to them. And, the ones that realize that I actually care about them, that's where I'm getting the most benefit, where they're offering things without me even asking. That situation I told you about earlier, you know, she knew what I was interested in. She knew what I was trying for in my career. I didn't ask her to do that, but because I built a genuine connection with her, genuine friendship, when that opportunity arose, I was the first person that she thought of in mind. So I think if you go in with that mindset, like you don't have to go into a networking situation where I need something out of this. Just build genuine connections with people. and it will go a long way.
Yeah, and I think that's the crux of the matter when it comes to networking, because people talk about it in such a transactional sense, right? It's like, who do I need to talk to get what I want, to get the job I want, to get the promotion I want? How do I get the board seat, whatever it is, depending on where you are in your career. But from your perspective, it sounds like you're investing the time to nurture actual connections and relationships, so that when the time comes, you may not even have to ask the person, because they may just think of you because they've already had a relationship and know what you're after, know what your goals are. It's not, hey, I need a thing, can you get me the thing? It sounds like it's just much more genuine. So for those of you that are listening and watching tonight, thinking about your network, are you just going to people when you need something, or are you trying to foster genuine relationships? And I think about, speaking engagements that I got 2 years after I've met people, right? That you continue the connection. You didn't want anything, they didn't want anything from you, but something arose, and the person said, "Hey, I know that you're in this space. Would you be open to this speaking engagement? I'll connect you with the organizer." I didn't have to ask. The person reached out to me. And so I think that's the thing about developing a strong network. And so let's go ahead and get into the case study, because I think people also just think about networking in the sense of, okay, I'm trying to find a job or something. But I'm thinking, especially for folks who are in organizations and are maybe looking to advance, that this case study may be good for them. So folks, get your pens and paper ready so that you can hear about tonight's case study and kind of hear what we're talking about. So we're dealing with Tanya tonight. So Tanya, poor Tanya. So she is the director of compliance at a bank, and she's known to be the go-to for tough problems. But the issue with her is her work is good, but nobody really knows her. So she's been passed over. Even after 15 years of strong performance, she's been passed over for VP roles and other opportunities. And people just say that she's not seen as strategic, or she doesn't have the right presence. The big issue came for Tanya when a colleague presented her work and got the credit for it, because nobody knew that Tanya had done it, because she's kind of just been letting the work speak for itself. And so the question I would have is, because for Tanya, she started to think about networking in a different way because she got a mentor. But there may be someone, Mike, who is in the audience who is Tanya, right? They've been working for 15 years, 10 years, even 5 years at this organization. And they're like, man, I am not I'm not being seen. I'm not being heard. I'm not being, there's no opportunities that are coming for me. And I'm seeing everybody else move up. So what are your first thoughts for high performing professionals like that, who seem to be running into this roadblock, and how networking may be able to help them?
Yeah, absolutely. So this goes back to what we discussed earlier, where sometimes people have this mindset that as long as they do a good job, they'll just naturally progress. And as a leader, it gets more difficult as you get to the top. So every company organization has a hierarchy. So when you start getting to director, senior director, VP, senior VP, it starts getting less and less people are at those roles and at those positions at the top of the company. So as a director, you could be performing well if you're not networking with other directors, other VPs, SVPs. Same thing. There may be certain scenarios like the only way to move up is if someone else moves out or if they open up a brand new position. So if you're able to effectively network, you may be able to find out about like, hey, this person's planning to retire and we need someone to backfill them. You may be a perfect fit for them. Or this person's getting promoted from VP to SVP and that's opening up a role for VP. Hey, you may
Mhm.
be perfect in mind. But if you're just working in your silo and you're not networking, one, you won't find out about these opportunities. Two, you won't be first in mind. People like in that particular scenario, it doesn't sound like the other people, other senior leaders within the company know the great work that Tanya's providing, even though she's doing phenomenal work for the organization. If people don't know about it, it's all for nothing. You have
Mhm.
to you have to think about your marketability. And that's part of networking. When I'm networking with people, I'm telling them the different projects I'm working on. And I'm asking them questions. I'm asking for tips, advice. What can I do better? What would you do in this situation? But I'm also kind of marketing myself, and I'm
A
letting them
little bit
know
of a
like,
flex, a little low key flex.
yeah, look at all the great things that I'm doing.
Right.
Do you have any feedback? So now, they're helping me improve and they're giving me guidance, but they're also well aware of all these big initiatives that I'm working on and all the impact I'm making to the business. So, it's a good way to help me get to that next level. And that's something perfect that Tanya could do in that scenario where she's feeling stifled, even though she's a director and she has all these great years of experience and done these great things for the company. She's not able to make that next leap to the next level, and that's where networking can really come into play.
So there's someone who's listening. There's a Tanya twin in our audience tonight who may be feeling like, well, Mike, I don't feel comfortable going and having conversations with people and trying to strike up, discussions and trying to forge these relationships. I don't even know who to talk to say I'm networking. And so there's somebody who's listening who may be in a kind of analysis paralysis, or they're just afraid to start having networking conversations, especially if you may be an introvert. It's, networking feels icky. So any thoughts for those folks who are listening who are like, yeah, I hear you, but that's not my ministry? What would you say to them?
So, number one, I know that some people are more intrinsic, some people are more extrinsic. Even if you're like intrinsic, I treat networking as part of my job. Like, this is
Mm,
something that is critical for your career success, for you to network internally at your company, to you to network externally outside your company. If you are more intrinsic, if you're more of a shy, timid person, I always recommend crawl before you walk.
mm,
I wouldn't, like, let's take a conference for example. I wouldn't tell somebody who's shy or timid to go to a conference and go make 100 connections. Like, that's jumping off the deep end. Same thing internally at your company. It can be difficult to build relationships and make connections. I wouldn't tell someone, hey, go meet 5 new people at your company by the end of the week. So take small steps, uh, leverage the network you already have. It's There's always 6 degrees of separation. If you don't know who to speak with next, ask your manager, ask your mentor, ask a colleague. They may be able to introduce someone that could be valuable for you to connect with. And I would challenge people. Set a goal for yourself. Say, hey, for this month, I'm going to make 1 new connection at my company. Or, for this month, I'm going to go to this conference or networking event and make 1 new connection, 2 new connections. And generally, when I tell people to take those steps, and it's a small step, it builds up their confidence. They realize there's nothing really to be afraid of. They enjoy it more than they thought they would. They're actually building a great connection with somebody that they weren't expecting to. And now that they've built up that confidence, now, like, it's that much easier moving forward. Now the next month, maybe try to do 2 connections, maybe
mm.
try to do 3 connections, and build on that momentum. But you have to have that mindset. Like I said, I know a lot of people believe that networking is not necessary, but it is critical both for your professional career, but as well as your personal life. With my career journey, I've named all the companies that I've worked for, and that's enabled me to live in. I've lived in New York, Delaware, Pennsylvania, Texas, California, Washington. It's not easy moving to a different city, a different state. Sometimes people move to different countries for roles. I'm at the point in my career where I feel like I can move anywhere. One, because I've developed my skills and I'm adept at networking. Two, I've networked so much that most places I've moved to, I either already know someone who lives there, or 6 degrees of separation, I know someone who can connect me with someone that lives there. And it's made it
Mm.
that much easier for me to move different places. So there's so many benefits of networking, and I want to make sure that people have that mindset that this is something that I need to do. I need to start implementing in my life today.
Man, that's just powerful, especially thinking about the impact on your life, right? It's not just about making a couple of connections. It can open the doors for you to live in new places, build up your confidence in so many ways, just create just a million new opportunities for yourself. And I think what I really love about what you said is that you treat it as part of your job. You don't treat it as some sort of negotiable, maybe I do it, maybe I don't kind of thing. It sounds like it's just part of what you do, and you kind of know that this is part of your job and you're committed to it. And so for those who may feel like, oh, I'm not sure if I should or I want, if you have that mindset of like, hey, this is something that I know I need to do, that at least puts you in the mindset of, okay, I at least need to try. And I love your idea of, it doesn't have to be a million things. You don't have to go talk to 100 people at your company tomorrow, right? It's like, okay, you talk to one person, and I love the idea of using a warm connection, a mentor you already have, your boss, and those folks can introduce on your behalf. You could say, hey, can you introduce me to Mike? I really am interested in this after leaving this group. Would you be willing to open up the line of communication? And the person will probably send an email on your behalf. So there's no need to really be afraid of taking those first steps. So I love that. I mean, and for me, when I think about my own career, I don't know if I would have had the opportunity to live in South America if I had not used my network within ExxonMobil. I just don't think so. I think I had enough of folks behind me, but people I forged relationships with, that allowed me to have the opportunity and go live in South America. Because expat opportunities are not a dime a dozen, right? I mean, they're hard to get. I mean, it took me a while to get one while I was at the company, but I think back to how many networking conversations I had besides strong performance. And so let me just lead with that. We're not saying neglect your performance, y'all. We still got to do our jobs. But I just think about, in conjunction to that networking, it really did help me with that. So a question that I would have for you is, you talked a little bit around, you strike up conversations in a genuine way, that you're looking to build relationships and you're not trying to be self-serving when you talk to folks and trying to build connections. But there are some people who feel like, hey, if I go talk to this person, aren't they already going to be on defense? Like, okay, well, what does Julia want now? I don't know why she's setting up time with me. People feel like just entering the conversation, it may come across as fake or self-serving. So any thoughts on how people can navigate those feelings in networking?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would try to go in there with the mindset, what can I bring to the table?
Mhm.
So, even if it's someone that's more senior than you and they may be at a VP, SVP level, they don't have the same experiences than you. They don't have the same perspectives as you. So there are things that other people can learn from you, just like you can learn and benefit from other people. So, I mean, if you have this mindset where you think that people are gonna think, okay, they want something out of me, like, go bring something to the table. Say, hey, networking is a two-way street. I emphasize that all the time. It's give and take. So, if you go and you spark up a conversation with somebody and you're like, hey, I want to ask you some questions, but I'd also like to share some of my thoughts and experiences and things that I think may be able to benefit you. Like now you're bringing something to the table as well, and it doesn't feel as though you're just asking for things. That, I mean, that's what rubs people off, is when you go into a situation and it's just take 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 take. Like I've been to networking events, and within 5 minutes of meeting somebody, like, oh, let me send you my resume. Oh, what jobs do you have for me? And it's like, I just met you. Like, you have to nurture the relationship, for like,
Now
build
we
it up.
we skip it right to the ask. We skip it right to the ask.
Exactly. So
Man,
so make sure that you're taking the time to get to know them as an individual, and finding ways that you can benefit, like you can add value to them just the same way that they can add value to you.
I love that. And we have a comment here from Chastity that says, volunteering on the front end always creates great opportunities down the road. Love that. So leading with service, it sounds like you're saying here, Mike, is along with what Chastity is saying, is that what can you do for the other person? I think that for people who want to get promoted, they may feel like, okay, Mike's the VP. I'm the director. I don't have anything to offer Mike. So if I go into his office for a conversation, it's going to come across as self-serving because I don't have anything to offer. But what I'm hearing you say is that Mike may not have everything that I have. Even at the VP level, there's something that I can offer, some perspective. Maybe there's a new project that they're working on where it's like, hey, we need another person, we need some insight, we need some perspective. Let me pair you with this person. It may just be that you could offer something. It doesn't have to be major, but you could still offer that person something. And so I want to flip it a little bit. I want to flip it a little bit because I don't think we talk a little bit about I wouldn't say the downside of networking, but there are some people who feel like I'm going to stop networking because I have tried, I have nurtured relationships, especially for people who may be within organizations and are currently on the job search in this tough job market. I've been networking, I've been talking to people, I have been doing the things, and nothing is happening. And I don't feel like I should talk to anybody anymore. No one can help me anyway. And I've been giving, 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 and nothing is happening. What would you say to people who may be feeling that way, whether they're trying to move up in their organization from a leadership perspective, or even folks who are on the job search?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say it's a process. It's a journey. It takes time. So, I mean, it's not as though you network today and then all your goals are met in the next 6 months in 1 year. You just don't know what doors are opening because of the fact that you're networking. So, yes, it can be frustrating, especially right now. I completely agree with you. It is a tough job market. I have a lot of close friends, colleagues that have tons of years of experience, that have multiple degrees, and they're having a hard time finding a job. You still have to put your best foot forward. You still have to network and nurture those relationships, and it's going to pay off in the long run. So, an analogy I like to use all the time, I'm big into health and fitness. I work out all the time. I go to the gym. I play basketball. I go running. I could easily go weigh myself and say, "Oh, I'm not the weight that I wish I was," and just throw in the towel and quit. That's not going to make things better.
Yeah.
Me being consistent and keeping my routine and going to the gym 5 days a week, that's what's going to help me get to my fitness goals. It's the consistency. It's a process.
Mm.
So as long as I stay consistent with it, a year from now, 2 years from now, I'm going to get the health benefits that I'm looking for. But if I just go and weigh myself and say, oh, well, doesn't look like how I pictured it would be in 3 months and just quit, now it's going to go all downhill. It's the same thing with networking. It's something that you have to continue to nurture and develop. And even when times get tough and you're not getting the job opportunities you're looking for, you may go through a rough patch where you may be unemployed and looking for different opportunities. Still put your best foot forward. It's going to pay off in the long run. The people that stay consistent and put in the work and make sure they're nurturing these relationships, those are the ones that are finding the opportunities. If you just give up altogether, that's going to close your window even more. It's going to make it even more difficult to find the opportunities, if anything.
Yeah.
So definitely continue to push through, and it's going to be worth it at the end of the day. The people that put in the work, the rewards will come.
I love that, and I love the fitness analogy because I'm big on fitness too, and the idea of just you've been working and you've been eating right and eating the salads and everything and drinking your water, and then you look at the scale and it's like, wait, the scale went up 2 pounds, and then it's like and you give up everything, and it's like that's not how it works. You've got to stay the course. You've got to stay committed, and so if you're listening and Mike and I both know it's tough in the job market right now, but this is not the time to take your foot off the gas. Continue to build those relationships. And speaking of relationships, so we're coming to the end here. I wanted to talk about networking for mentors and sponsors and being able to find those individuals. When you reflect on your own career, because I know especially in minority communities, we sometimes we have the mentors, but we may not have the sponsors, or we may not even have the mentorship. And so would love to hear your thoughts on how networking has helped you in finding the right mentors, being able to have people who are able to advocate on your behalf as sponsors when you're not in the room. How has networking helped you in those areas?
Yeah, absolutely. So from a mentorship perspective, similar to what I discussed earlier, having the right mentors can give you different perspectives that you may not have necessarily thought of when you're either pursuing specific roles or you're working on specific projects, deliverables. So having someone who may have more years of experience at the company or more years of experience in the industry and the function, I can ask them questions and ask for guidance, and they can help guide me so I don't make the same pitfalls that they did in their career, or I approach a project a certain way, or I approach an interview process a certain way. So having mentors has been critical for me, and a lot of my mentors have even provided me with job opportunities where I've had that mentor mentee relationship for so long. They know what I'm looking for in my career. They know what I'm striving for. They know where my strengths are, where my areas of opportunity are. And I've had some of my mentors reach out to me, and I wasn't even looking for job opportunities at the time. And they were saying, "Oh, you know what? I think you'd be a fantastic fit for this role. Let me connect you to this person. Let me connect you to that person." Same thing with sponsors. So a lot of people aren't fully aware of the difference between like a mentor or sponsor.
Yes.
A, a mentor is someone that's giving you knowledge, guidance to help you throughout your career or in your personal life. A sponsor is someone that's multiple levels above you at a company that's actively working to pull you up and get you to the next level. So I've been lucky enough to get sponsors as well. You brought this up earlier. You have to perform. You're not just given a sponsor. You can't just network and say, "Hey, will you be my sponsor?" That's not how it works. If you perform well, you get the opportunity to connect with a sponsor. A company will like evaluate, "Oh, look at this person's performance every year consistently. They're getting in the top 5, 10% ranking in the company. They should probably be on a track. They should be getting promoted. Let's provide them with a sponsor." So, I at the end of the day, I still think it's valuable to network, but make sure that you're performing. You're performing well, and people know the value that you're bringing to the table, and that's what's going to help you get those sponsorship. But getting a sponsor, getting someone that's multiple levels above you who's actively fighting to bring you up is critical
Mhm.
because like I said, the higher you go up in a company, the smaller it is. There's only so many people. And if you have someone that's vouching for you, who's saying that you deserve to be at that next level, it's going to speak volumes. You have to understand there's a lot of meetings that are being had at these companies where there may be 10 people sitting in a room deciding who's moving into what position. And if they don't know who you are, if there's not somebody in the room vouching for you, fighting for you, it's going to be that much more difficult. It's going to be in that Tanya situation where there's a room full of people and they don't know who you are. It's like, oh, well, let's pick this person. I know who that person is. I don't know who this person is. But if you're able to get mentors and sponsors, it's critical. Every company I've worked at, I've been able to build mentorship relationships. Even with me transitioning in different companies, I still keep in touch with my past mentors. There are
Mhm.
still things that I can learn from them. So I'm making sure to nurture those relationships and still keep in touch with them, and it's been very helpful for me.
Man, and as you were mentioning Tanya, I was thinking about Tanya too, right? Because if as at a director level, right? Because people may talk about networking like when you first start in your career, right? And you're like the eager energizer bunny, right? Trying to to know everybody. And then, like you said, going up the ladder, there those positions are fewer and far between. And that means that networking is even more critical at that point because the roles people are being handpicked for VP positions and C-suite positions, right? It's not just whoever is available. It's like they're getting handpicked. And so for someone like Tanya, who was overlooked as a director, so folks who are listening who are in senior roles and maybe feeling overlooked, this is where networking is critical for you, and having those mentors is and sponsors is essential. And one of the things I like that you mentioned is that the sponsor is actively speaking up on your behalf, right? Like the sponsor is somebody that I like to say they've got the juice that you don't have, and so they've got the juice. They're in the rooms that you can't get in. No one's even asking you to get in this room, but they're in there. and they're not just sitting and participating, they're actually speaking up on your behalf to get you an opportunity. And they can't do that if your performance is not good. So I know there's the whole, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Nah, you got to know some stuff. Like you got to know some stuff. It's a coupling of knowing your stuff, knowing the right people, but making sure that your work is A1, so that when people are speaking up on your behalf, that they're willing to stick their neck out because they know you're good for it. So man, this has been a fun conversation. I hope that the folks who are listening have been able to take some great nuggets away. Before we wrap up, though, Mike, if you think about everything we've talked about so far, and if you think about your book as well, is there one final piece of advice that you would want to share with those who are listening, leaders who may be wanting to move up, the Tanyas of the world, or folks who are just trying to approach networking differently? Any final piece of advice?
I'll say final piece of advice. I'll say two things. One, I brought this up earlier. It's a process. It's a journey. It takes time. It's taken me 20 plus years to build up my network, and I've nurtured my network. I tell people all the time, it's very easy to make a connection. It's difficult to maintain a connection. So I've kept in touch with people I've met throughout my career journey, throughout all the places that I've lived. And I've continued to keep in touch with people, even when I no longer live in a specific city and I don't live in a specific state. I don't work for that company anymore. I still find value in keeping that network. So continue to put your best foot forward, put yourself out there, build those relationships, maintain these relationships, figure out a good cadence to reach out to people so you can regularly keep in touch with them so you don't just fall out of sight, out of mind. That happens very often. So I'd say the first point, I would say make sure you understand it's a process, it's a journey. The second piece that I would say that I tell people all the time as well, everyone's journey is different. So I get into these discussions where you can use the Tanya example where people see other people and like, oh, I should be a VP or I should be further in my career and I should be, and they're looking at other people and everyone's journey is not the same. Like sometimes you may have to take a step back to make two steps forward. Sometimes you may have to make a lateral step to go forward. But don't compare yourself to other people all the time. Like you have your own journey. Go your path. Your path may be different than other people's. So it's great to set goals for yourself and strive to get to that next level. And you want to be a director, you want to be a VP, you want to get to the C-suite. That's fantastic. But make sure you're focused on your journey and not looking at other people's journey and comparing and contrasting and saying what could have been, should have been. Like focus on your path.
I love that. I lied though. I have one more question for you. And so I'm thinking now for people who are listening about if I want to move up or if I want to expand my career, do I just need to network up? Because I feel like we always talk about trying to get to the next level. And so you're talking to the people at the top, at levels above you. What are your thoughts about networking across, even down, depending on where you are in an organization? What are your thoughts about networking holistically as people who leave this conversation like, who should I go and talk to after this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I network vertically, I network horizontally. I I think it's been so beneficial and not just focus in one direction.
Mm,
So I mean, even your peers horizontally, there's so many things that you can learn from, and you're all striving for the same thing. You can help one another. So if you're at, let's use the Tanya example, if you're at the director level and you're networking with other directors, I may have my strengths, I may have my areas of opportunity. Maybe there's another director that can help me improve my areas of opportunity. And maybe in return, I can help them improve in a specific area. So, as an example, when I first started working at Amazon, when I joined, I was a senior vendor manager. And there was another woman on my team who was also a senior vendor manager. We were the same title, same level, same position. We're both striving to get to that next level at Amazon. when I joined, I was good at paper writing. Well, I am good at. I'm an author, obviously. So, uh, Amazon,
Slight flex. That's cool.
yeah. But Amazon's big on paper writing. They don't do PowerPoint presentations. So if you want to make a change, if you're suggesting some type of improvement, you have to write a paper. So that was my strength, and I wasn't good at using SQL. You need to be able to extract data. If you go into a meeting at Amazon and you don't have the data to support it, you're going to get laughed out the room. So my colleague, same title, same role, same level, she was strong analytically. She could use SQL. She wasn't good at paper writing. So what did we do? I helped her with her paper writing. She helped me with my SQL. Years down the road, we're both people managers at Amazon, and we've both been at Amazon for 4 or 5 years. We're successful. We didn't compete against one another. We helped one another, and we both grew within the company.
Mhm.
So if you have that mindset where you can work with your peers and help each other get to the next level, that's going to go a long way. So I definitely recommend people network horizontally, even down. I've
Mhm.
worked in a lot of situations at companies where people that are at lower levels don't feel respected by people that are at a higher position, higher role, and I think that's a terrible way to look at it. And I've taken people out to lunch and I've asked them for help, and they see I'm treating them just like anybody else. I'm not looking down at them because they're a level below me or have less experience. I treat them like everyone else, and that's made them want to work for me. That's one of made them want to work harder for me, even when they're not reporting to me directly. I may be working on a project, maybe I'm leading an initiative, but now they respect me more because of the way I treated them. So just because someone is at a lower level than you doesn't mean brush them off. I don't want to waste my time networking with you. There's something that you can learn from everybody. So I'm networking in all different directions. I'm networking up, down, horizontally, and it's been beneficial for my career.
I love that, the idea of being able to network with folks who may not yet be at your level, because there's a lot that they're bringing to the table. There's insights that they may have. And what I have seen, especially as someone who has had people work for her who may be a level below, but they've been here a much longer than me. They've seen everything. They know where the bodies are buried. You know what I mean? And so those are the folks that you make your best friends, because it's like they know things and they have insights and skills that you couldn't dream of having because they've built it up over time. So I love the idea of networking in all directions, because that's how you also have a well-rounded network. So and you expand your network, because it's like you've got people at all levels, at all different companies with all different insights. So I love that. So that was my final question. Thank you so much, Mike, for sharing such knowledge and insight. So I want to make sure that I give you the time to share with folks where they can connect with you if they want to learn more, and where they can buy the book. Because again, it's a really good book, y'all. I'm just saying.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So yeah, feel free to connect with me. I have my own website. So my website is michaelvmorgan.com. So V is in Victor, michaelvmorgan.com. So feel free to go on my website. I have a contact me form. You can reach out to me through there. You can contact me through LinkedIn. Michael Morgan PMP is my name on LinkedIn because I have my PMP Project Management Professional certification. If you go by the URL on LinkedIn, it's Michael V Morgan. So feel free to connect me on those different platforms. As far as my book, it's available on all platforms. So if you want the paperback, you can go on Amazon. If you want the audio book, it's on Spotify, it's on Audible. If you want the ebook, it's on Kindle, it's on Barnes and Nobles. So whatever platform you're looking for, it's available. It's called The Power of Networking. If you do purchase my book, I'd love to get your thoughts, and feel free to reach out to me. But yeah, I'd love to hear from everybody. So please connect with me.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Mike. And you heard him. Like, there's no excuse for you not to be able to either contact him or get the book. He's on enough platforms, and so is the book, for you guys to be able to soak up some more of this networking insight and perspective. Thank you again, Mike, for being here and sharing the knowledge and wisdom with us. Thank you to everyone who watched tonight. Christy and Chastity, thank you guys for being active in the chat today. We will be back next week, same time, same place. Thank you for watching the Career Climb, and I will see you guys next week.